Well, you're definitely starseed, that's without a doubt. Or you're an angelic, or you're a higher dimensional being, or you're a very, very evolved Earth being. I'm picking up Pleiades, okay? So I don't know if that surprises you, but yeah, okay. So yeah, definitely a lot of Pleiadian energy. Even though when I look at you, you almost look a little Arcturian. There might be a little bit of Arcturian in there as well, but I'm definitely picking up origins as the Pleiades, okay? So, yeah. Now, because you were born in 1970, so first wavers were born right after World War II on through the mid to late 60s. You're kind of like beginning of second wave, okay? So there, you have a different energy than people like you, born in the 1970s. You're the system busters, okay? So you're an indigo, okay? So you're would be what I would classify as an indigo child, okay? So you were likely somebody that was rebellious against authority for a lot of your life. And maybe not in such an outward way, but maybe even in your own quiet Cancerian way, you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't agree with this. I'm not going to do it. I'm just
That's a better fit.
yeah. And not everybody is like the activist that's out there, with the picket, picketing with signs, and I have a lot of indigos that are, equally as rebellious, but they're more quiet about it.
Definitely in that camp.
Yeah, in that camp, yeah. So you're a system buster, okay? But I think in a way you're also a system builder. So you're a template implementer. I'm not sure exactly what that means yet, but I keep hearing template builder, template implementer. So we'll take a look at that and see how that relates to your story. But so what that tells me is that more than likely you're somebody that you're going to point out the things that are wrong, okay? But and this is some of my second waivers, they're just the big activists, okay? So they're the truth tellers, they're the people that are, out there, trying to be whistleblowers, that sort of thing. I don't see that energy with you at all, okay?
No.
I think your energy is more not, and passive is probably not the right word, but maybe more reflective, okay? So, you're more of a water child, so you're somebody that you'll make changes, but you'll do it in your own kind of indirect, kind of flowy kind of way, okay?
Yeah.
So you'd rather like gently influence somebody to make a change or to look at something differently rather than be forceful and in their face about it. So let's look at the Pleiades. Do you know much about the Pleiades at all, or?
I don't. And that was the thing that was interesting about your reading that I saw on the internet is the stars that were in it. And I didn't realize specific stars or there are different parts to the Pleiades. So I'd be interested in hearing
More about that. Yeah, actually, each of those stars have their own kind of specialty. And not many people talk about it except maybe for me, but I don't know. I keep looking for information on. Okay, do other people talk about Merope being the big healing center? And it's like, no, I'm the only one that sees it. Okay, so, but I've seen it so often that I know, and I've seen it in the records so often that I know it's real. I just know that each of these stars kind of have a specialty. So I'm trying to pick up, I'm kind of seeing a dual star with you. I think you originated from Maya, and Maya is one of the stars. It's not one of the main stars, but it's an important star. And I'm also seeing Electra. So those are two stars that are in the Pleiades cluster. And so let me break it down. Okay, so you have Taygeta and Alcyon. Those are the two major star systems in the Pleiades.
Okay.
So both of these star systems in Electra or Taygeta were both mostly technologically oriented, okay? So these are stars that, most of my folks that are Pleiadians and come from these stars are usually very highly technical people, or they're they're quite great organizers, so they're great project managers, okay? I'm not seeing that kind of energy with you at all, okay? It's not to say that you're not good with technology, I think, but I don't think it's like a priority for you. Like I did a reading for a young man last night who was from Taygeta, and he's a system analyst in this life. Yeah, so, and I didn't know that. I just said, you're from Taygeta, you probably work a lot with technology. And he says, oh my God, he said, how did you know that? I work as a systems analyst for a technology company. So, it was, right on target for him. With you, I'm seeing more divine feminine energy. Okay, so I think that's why you're attracted to the Wicca and to the kind of the pagan, ceremonies, because it reminds you of some of the things you used to do in the Pleiades. Okay. So I'm kind of seeing a little bit more priestess healer energy with you. Okay. So I think you are a healer. Maybe you haven't realized that about yourself yet, but
Yeah.
so have you done any kind of healing work or?
And well, that's I've done it and I've heard it because I think Donna's an astrologer. A lot of people have told me that, and I'm having a hard time coming to grips with it because I try things and
Quite line up.
they don't quite line up, and I'm having I do animal communication. I've gotten also into shamanism too. If shamanism
Oh yeah, shamanism would be a big part of.
is huge for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
more than the Wicca, I think.
yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, shamanism. And I'll describe Maya to you. The reason why shamanism is really big for you is because I think the whole concept of shamanism originated from Maya. Okay.
Okay.
Like I said, there's these different stars in the Pleiades. I mean, you had Taygeta and Alcyon, which were more kind of the seat of Pleiadian civilization. So pretty much the seat of Pleiadian government, the seat of the Pleiadian star fleet. That was the focus of those two star systems. With Alcyon maybe having more of a creative bent. Okay, so the people from Alcyon tend to be a little more creative than maybe the people from Taygeta. People from Maya were deep spiritual scholars. Okay, so Maya is kind of the seat of deep spirituality. Okay, so it has like the Pleiades tended to be kind of a balance between divine masculine and divine feminine. So you had some star systems that were more leaning towards divine masculine, like Maya and Alcyon. Like Taygeta and Alcyon. And then you had some like Merope and Maya that were more divine femininely oriented, or Pleione. Electra was kind of a little bit kind of neutral, maybe. It's kind of like a more neutral, or maybe a more well balanced star system. So the Maya star system, the Pleiadians there were not the tall, blonde, Nordic-looking types. The Pleiadians actually were quite varied in their looks. Okay, so you had some that were tall, beautiful, blonde Nordics, and then you had some that were slightly shorter, dark-haired, beautiful dark-haired people, with darker skin. Okay. Maya was one of those star systems where most of the Pleiadians there had slightly darker skin and dark hair. Yeah, so a lot of your Native American tribes claim to have ancestry from the Pleiades, okay? And I think the star system that they were most associated with was probably Maya with some Merope, okay?
Okay.
And I'm seeing a little bit of Merope in you, so I'm wondering if maybe you had some incarnations in Merope as well. So you kind of bounce from Maya, Merope, Electra. So the Maya people, they were mostly scholars and information collectors. Okay.
That resonates with me. I'm an information architect, librarian, user experience. Yeah, I deal a lot with data.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're a librarian in this life.
I'm a variation. I would describe myself as I used used to be an archivist, and then I transitioned. I do user experience and customer experience, but I have to work with analyzing and gathering data, and yeah.
Which I think the collecting knowledge part comes from Maya. The analyzing comes from Electra. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you're in a career field that's you already utilizing some of your gifts or some of your abilities. Your star origin abilities, and it may not be like your first love, but it's something that you're good at and you can do. You can make money. So it's basically that.
Exactly it.
Now, Merope was interesting, and a lot of like Pleiadian channelers, with the exception of Kaba Mer, don't talk about Merope that much. But I love Merope because it's the home of the great Pleiadian healers. Okay. So a lot of my Pleiadians that are like, advanced healers have had lives in Merope. Okay. And I think this is where some of your love of the shamanism and the kind of the ritualistic kind of type of spirituality comes in, is from Merope, because there was, it was mostly a femininely oriented culture, and it was mostly priestesses that would initiate people through these levels of healing. And they weren't necessarily physical healers, they were more psycho-spiritual healers. Okay, so
yeah, Donna said that to me before.
So a lot of this seems to be lining up with you, it seems.
It is lining up, yeah.
I mean, because it seems like it's kind of, even the things I'm saying are kind of corresponding with, Donna's astrology, so, yeah. I mean, maybe she's not saying, oh yeah, this came from Merope or from Maya, but she's telling you, yes, you have these gifts, and they most likely came from prior lifetimes, so, yeah.
I think as long as this doesn't break your chain of thought, I was thinking of writing about the ancestors, my DNA ancestors, like my grandparents and everything. I mean, that was kind of something I was thinking about, like channeling or healing or.
Yeah, you know what? I just did a healing for my dear Armenian friend. She was going through a lot of ancestral pain because of what happened to the Armenian people, and I didn't realize it until it was kind of random. Even before I did the clearing, went and met with a friend of hers who was from Iran, and he's a big historian, so he loves to travel to different countries, and so he was talking about how when he traveled to Armenia, he went through this museum that showed all these pictures from the Armenian Holocaust. And I never even knew this had happened to the Armenian people. I was in shock. And I mean, they massacred, I don't know how many millions of people, I mean, it was awful. So the thing with your Armenian genetics is that you're having to clear this ancestral pain, okay? This ancestral trauma, okay? So I think you writing about it, and maybe journaling, your thoughts or, your downloads would be very, very healing for you, okay? When I downloaded the information from the records, I was just overwhelmed. I was just like, wow, this was really, I mean, and then wasn't it the Turks that did it? Yeah.
It came up with two different readers, and it came up again this weekend when I went to the thing. It came up with Donna, and I came up with another person who I go talk to. And I feel like that's part of my life's path, is to do healing around that, but I'm not groups of people.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily your only mission, because I think a lot of us come in with, various missions, so I don't think it's necessarily your only mission, but it may be one of your missions is to clear your own ancestral trauma signatures, so maybe you can turn around and help others clear theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about you being a psycho-spiritual healer, so you're healing more at the core level rather than at the physical level. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, Yeah, that's something I think that's come up a lot with. I don't get a lot of Armenian clients, but I mean, you're only my second one other than my friend, and it kind of is like a repeat of what happened in Lyra, okay? So in Lyra, I don't know if you know about Lyra Vega, okay?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me just kind of fill you in a little bit of galactic history, and then we can move on back to the Pleiades. But the Pleiadians were actually descendants of a group of people who are refugees from Lyra. Okay, so Lyra in our galaxy is the original home of human consciousness. So that's where human consciousness within our galaxy or our part of the universe began. So this is when they had the first human races. There was two in particular. There was the white Lyrans that were more father god consciousness oriented, and then you had your blue Vega people that were more mother god consciousness oriented. Vega was also part of Lyra. It was just another star system in itself. But these people were brand new humans, so I think they were a little naive about conflict and about evil. Okay, so they never were exposed to it. So when they got contacted by the Draconians, they just thought, oh, they're our friends. We'll just invite them, try to make a treaty with them or whatever. But the Draconians always had the intention that they were going to take over Lyra and they were going to conquer it and make it part of their own empire. Because they wanted to use the planets for resources. Okay, they couldn't even care less about keep maintaining the integrity of the planets. They just wanted to rape the planets of its resources. So they ambushed the Lyrans and they wiped 50 million Lyrans. I mean, they killed 50 million Lyran people. Okay, so the few that managed to escaped to other star systems. Okay, much of the white Lyrans escaped to Pleiades. Okay, so even though the Pleiadian people may have not maybe physically in their own lives dealt with this trauma, okay, they have the genetic coding of it in their genetics because they're descendants of the Lyrans. Okay, so kind of what happened in Armenia and what happened with the Holocaust, and other genocidal type of incidences on Earth has kind of been an additional imprint of this trauma on top of the original trauma from Lyra. Okay, so I think that's why you in particular, you're a Cancer. Okay, you dig deep. Okay, you're somebody that you're not surface level. Okay, you're somebody when you go into the emotions, you go really, really deep. Okay. And I think Pisces tends to be, I don't know, I think Pisces can be really deep too. They just don't maybe show it as much. But my husband's a Pisces. So, I'm always kind of, sometimes, he keeps a very calm facade. But then I look at him and I said, I know, I can see the wheels churning, in his head. I know he's like mulling over something because I see the steam coming out of his ears. But usually he's like real calm in this calm surface. Cancerians I think are kind of similar in that they keep a really hard exterior so that you think that they don't care, but they care. Yeah. Yeah, they care a lot. So I think you have some of that quality too, but I think you're somebody that digs deep. So I kind of see you almost like maybe directing some of your energy towards learning some sort of psycho-spiritual healing. And maybe that's why some of these other healing modalities that you were connected with didn't really, relate, because you were like, okay, Reiki, I don't care about that. That's basic, or
Yeah.
or like, crystal healing. Okay, that's all right, but I think you're somebody, you need something that is psychologically deep, okay? So I would suggest maybe QHHT, which is, Dolores Cannon specially, which we mentioned before. So you might want to look her up, or some sort of hypnosis, like even maybe even past life regression work or family constellation work, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so those are kind of more the realm that I think you would really be very, very good at. Okay.
Okay.
That kind of healing rather than doing Reiki or doing some sort of sound healing or, whatever that a lot of other people are doing.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I took Reiki. I took 1 and 2, and I was bored. I was just like, nah, not for me. I took a lot of different modalities. I was, when I was going through my phase when I was just exposing to myself to as much spiritual information or classes I can take, and most of the stuff that other people were doing didn't resonate with me at all. Then I, glommed onto Akashic readings. It was like the light bulb went off. It's just, and you may even want to, look into Akashic reading. I think you would do very well with that too. So it's like the light bulb went off, and I was like, oh yes, yes, this is in alignment with my skill sets. So and in my, because I like to dig deep too. Okay, I'm a Leo, but I still like to dig deep. So I think that's maybe more in alignment with what your soul purpose. I see you kind of healing family trauma. Okay, and I think you're going to start with your own family, but then you're going to help others with theirs. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that sound kind of in alignment with what you were thinking
Yeah.
of?
Honestly, it's giving it definition. It's just, it was a vague notion. I'm just trying to get the shape around. This helps me give shape and a new. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. I would look into QHHT. Okay. Those.
Okay.
See if that resonates with you. Hypnosis, like past life regression hypnosis, or family constellation work.
The question I have is channeling. With channeling, can I put myself under hypnosis and channel, or
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't do that for yourself. You mean like as part of your own healing, or
as part of my own healing, or getting information like?
you had lifetimes in Merope. You're a channeling expert, so absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Now, I think your lifetimes in Electra, I think, was preparing you more for the more template aspect. It's like what you're going to do, okay? You're going to take people's old crappy templates and helping them build brand new, higher dimensional, higher vibrational templates, okay? And these
Okay.
were skill sets that you learned in Electra, okay? That's why you're such an analyst, okay? Because you learned how to analyze when you had your lifetimes in Electra, okay?
Okay.
And I actually see there's an aspect of you that I think is going to actually do some healing of animals as well.
That I was the animal communicator. That's another thing I dabbled in, and so yeah.
Pleiadians love animals. They have
I
this
love that.
they have this resonance with animals that nobody else seems to have, okay? I have a friend here in town who's a pet sitter, and she's definitely Pleiadian starseed. She's an older Pleiadian starseed. She's like first wave, but she's a Pleiadian starseed, and I'm just like, I mean, she has an affinity for animals, and I think she even communicates with them telepathically. I don't know,
Mhm.
but I think you do the same thing, okay? And I think these were skill sets maybe from Maya and Merope, okay? So and you notice how the Native American groups always have this connection with the animal totems?
Yes.
So that's kind of the same kind of connection you have with animals where you know them, you can read them, you have an inherent understanding of what they're going through. Um, so I see you also doing healing work with animals.
Yeah. I see myself healing with animals first rather than people.
Yeah, and I think you may want to start off with animals, just to,
Okay.
build up your confidence, like,
Okay.
so maybe you're not going to do QHHT on an animal, but you're going to certainly can do energy work with an animal, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or
I
some,
can.
yeah, so I think, this could have a multifaceted, I think construct for you. So you can, so it's not like you have to specialize in just one thing, you know,
Right.
you can specialize in as many things as you want to, but yeah, I definitely see the animal connection there. And I think, for you, probably working with animals would be probably a little bit more comfortable, And then as you start, getting more confidence in your abilities, then maybe you can start working with people. Okay. But I think before you do that, you definitely have to heal your own, family stuff, whatever it is that you're feeling like you need to dig deep and channel into. Okay. So, yeah. So the question is, you had these lives in the Pleiades, and you had very specialized lives. I mean, you've always, like, some of my Pleiadians are kind of like generalists. They'll do, they do everything. They do this, they do that, they do whatever. You're more of what I call a serious Pleiadian. Okay, so I have my love and light Pleiadians that just want to sprinkle stardust and everything's all happy, but you're more of a serious Pleiadian, so you're here. You're going to do big work. I mean, you're here on a mission. And it's not that you don't like to have fun. It's not that at all. But it's just that you have a more direct focus. Okay, um, so with you, I don't think, just doing, chakra clearings and, and, crystal grids is gonna cut it for you. You're somebody that has to be quite a bit deeper than that. Which is actually, I think, a very good quality. We have enough people that are out there sprinkling fairy dust, you know what I'm saying? So, we need some real healers, some people that can, really do the deep stuff. And I think you're absolutely one of them. Like I said, I think you're going to start with animals, and then as you progress, you're probably going to get, more focused on people. Okay. And now I'm trying to figure out, let's see, I see an Arcturus component with you. Okay. And I actually think, okay, and this is going to sound kind of interesting. Okay. I think when you decided that you were going to incarnate on Earth to be part of the Earth Ascension Project, you felt like you needed another level of information to prepare yourself for this journey to Earth. Okay. So Arcturus, and that's where I'm from. I'm an Arcturian.
Yeah, I want to ask more about that afterward.
So I think because you were getting prepared to do this psycho-spiritual work here on Earth, you wanted to have a lifetime in Arcturus. Okay. So Arcturus was kind of like your jumping off point from the Pleiades to Earth. Okay. So I'm seeing that you were one of the Stargate workers. Okay. And pretty much most of us Arcturians worked the Stargate at one point or another. It's kind of like jury duty. You just did it, So so you were learning about how to access the records and how to look, and I think that's why you do the kind of work you do today, is because you had to kind of gather information, analyze the situation or the information you received, and see how, kind of help the client figure out, okay, so this is your soul mission. Did you feel like you accomplished it? Or if you didn't accomplish it, what is it that you need to tweak to make it better for the next life, kind of thing. Okay. And then you give them several options. Okay. You can incarnate here, or you can incarnate there, or you can incarnate here. And it's up to that soul to decide what they want to do. Okay. So you did that just for one lifetime, but it was an important lifetime because it kind of, I think, expanded you out of kind of the comfort level of the Pleiades and got you on a much higher level way of thinking. Okay, so you're a soul that you've gone through some really extensive training. I mean, throughout multiple off-world lifetimes. I mean, you have been preparing and preparing and preparing for this Earth mission for a long freaking time. Okay,
I feel so lost.
I mean, and you're just like, oh my, and then you incarnate on Earth and you're like, okay, I know I have this mission, but
Exactly.
and I went through the veil of forgetfulness, so now I forgot everything, darn it, and now I have to go get an astrology reading and an Akashic reading so I can maybe remember what it is I was supposed to remember, So So the cool thing about having an Akashic reading is that it acts as an activation, okay? Just like maybe the Wicca class did, and then maybe like your astrology reading did. It's a little bit of an activation. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect you with your higher self, your higher true self, okay? Not just with your Earth avatar, okay? And then I'm also trying to connect you with your star family, so that now you know who you can direct your questions to if you have questions about what it is you're supposed to be doing, or what kind of messages you're supposed to be receiving, or who you can connect with the channel from, that sort of thing, okay? So you would be connecting with Maya Merope Electra, okay? So it's the MME, okay? Maya Merope Electra.
If I work with Arcturian, like there's a person that comes around and he connects with the Arcturians. Is that something I still?
Oh yeah, you can always connect with the Arcturians. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I mean you had a lifetime there. I mean they're like your second family. So, and you said there was something you wanted to ask me about regarding Arcturus.
Well, one of them, there's that same group when they go to Egypt in the spring.
They're the Arcturian group.
Yeah, but that's like not that's surface question. I was just curious when you said Arcturian. I just wanted to understand that because they're kind of. I connect with this person, but not like I wasn't sure. Like I always felt more with the Pleiadians than.
Yeah, I'm seeing a stronger connection with Pleiadians, and I'm seeing Peru would be a better trip for you.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason being is because I think more of the shamanic practices there will resonate more with your Maya origins, okay? Whereas Egypt, it'd be interesting, but you'll be like, not really connecting here. It'll be I think it's an interesting trip. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad trip, but it would just be kind of, I think the Peru one will have more of an impact.
Include Mexico in there as well?
Oh, absolutely. God, yes. Yeah, please go to Mexico. Mexico, you know where the Mayans got their name from? It was from the star system of Maya.
It was. I was wondering about that. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I say a lot of these native groups have this connection with Maya. Okay, so that'd be the the North American Native Americans.
Yeah.
Your Central American indigenous people, and then also your South American people. Okay, why do you think their temples are always aligned with the Pleiades? Okay.
Yeah.
In Egypt, all their temples and their pyramids were aligned with Orion and Sirius, so yeah, girl, you need to go to the south, yeah, head south. That's where you need to be, because that's where your people are. That's where your people are. Okay, so yeah, head south. Yeah, don't go east, I guess. So but yeah, I'm trying to see Earth lifetimes. Okay. And even though you're in Boston, I am getting more of a Lemurian energy with you. So I think you were probably like me. You had an incarnation in Lemuria rather than in Atlantis. Okay.
Yeah.
So that tells me right there that your focus is more on spirituality. Okay.
Yeah.
And information gathering rather than technology. Okay.
Got it.
So you're more Mother Goddess consciousness oriented. Okay. I'm not seeing Egypt for you as a lifetime, but I am seeing some European lives and some South American, Central American lives. Okay. So I think you're drawn to Peru because you had lifetimes there more than likely. Okay. Because it's in a lot of those indigenous people, their genetics hailed from the Pleiades. So in order for you to incarnate into those family groups, you had to have a genetic match, which you did. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that in this lifetime you have Native American blood, because more than likely you probably don't. You're like me.
I don't.
I'm Arcturian and I have no Native American blood. But how can I be Arcturian and be European? Well, there was some Arcturian groups in Europe. Okay. Not very many. Okay. Pleiades was widespread in Europe. Okay. So for you, What I'm seeing with Armenian genetics, it's mostly Pleiadian. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing that. I saw that with my friend, and I'm seeing that with you as well.
We're connected to the Native Americans.
Yeah, you are actually. I mean, in kind of a roundabout kind of way, but yeah, you are probably even more so than you think. Yeah, yeah, very much so. Yeah.
That's what that was another question that I was wondering. It's like why when I was listening to what you were talking in that last channel with that other woman, like why the Native American and the Armenians? Is that something? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a connection there. I mean, your even your physicality looks very similar. I mean, you could probably pass for Native American, just like I can, I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I'm full-blooded Italian, but
Oh, wow.
but somehow I don't know, and I don't know how it works with European. A lot of European genetics seem to be mixed with Pleiades, Sirius, a little bit of Arcturus, and if you're from the UK, a little bit of Andromeda. Okay, but
Okay.
yeah, but it's mostly Pleiadian and Sirius. Okay, so a lot of your, I think, more Eastern cultures tend to be more Orion, Sirius. Okay, so I see that. And also in Africa, it's more Orion and Sirius. And then, there's, little pockets of, random, genetics in random places. South Pacific, kind of tends to be more Arcturian, Andromedan. Okay, so kind of a different, but with some Pleiadian mixed in there as well. So Pleiadian genetics is pretty widespread because they were one of the two groups, other than the Syrians, who had the most influence on the Human Genome Project. Okay, and they were the ones, I think, that colonized the most areas of the planet. Okay, this was before Atlantis, before Lemuria. Okay, so there was people visiting here on this. I mean, people from other stars that were visiting here on this planet, I mean, for millennia, even before Atlantis. Okay, so I'm seeing, Mediterranean lives with you more so than Northern European. Okay, I'm seeing Greek, Eastern Europe. Okay, which I think Armenia is in Eastern Europe, kind of, sort of, yeah,
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
kind of, sort of, maybe not exactly Hungarian or Croatia, but
Somewhere in that area, like Albania or.
yeah, exactly. So it's probably even more east than I'm sorry, I'm terrible with my geography. So they're more east than Hungary or Czechoslovakia, or more western.
I think Macedonia is above Greece, and Albania is on the other side of Italy.
So it's kind of more closer to Greece and Italy, maybe, or
Yeah, I could be wrong too. I'll be honest with you.
okay, okay.
I was looking at my DNA to like the answer and some. It's weird because ancestry stuff. I have relatives that are in Albanian or Greek or
Oh, interesting. Okay.
way back when.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Isn't Armenia very close to Afghanistan, or am I totally mistaken?
Armenia is eastern Turkey, borders Iran and Syria.
Okay, so yeah, that would be more northern then. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'm just seeing, heavy Pleiadian genetics in your family line. Okay. And with maybe some Antarian, and I don't know, maybe some Syrian in there, but very heavy Pleiadian genetics. I think that's why you chose this particular family to incarnate into in this lifetime, because I think as part of the psycho-spiritual healer that you wanted to help heal kind of the old wounds from that family lineage. Okay, like I said, that's one of your missions. It's not your only mission, but it's one of them. So. And I think in this lifetime, what a lot of us are being tasked with is really doing a lot of deep inner, work to clear out any old traumas or any old programming that's held us back and has held our, ancestors back for so many centuries, because we can't go into the fifth dimension with all those, that baggage. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we have to clear it in this lifetime. So I think that's why a lot of us are getting these massive downloads, and we're getting these massive, issues that are coming up that we have to, like, those are in our face, like, okay, I thought I dealt with this, and it's like, no, it's in my face again. And it's like, okay, I got to deal with this. Okay, so we're doing all these clearings. We're all clearing each other, clearing ourselves, because we have to. Otherwise, we're not going to get into the fifth dimension. It's just not going to happen. You can't go into the fifth dimension with pain and trauma signatures, because what happens in the fifth dimension is we become, it's the realm of love and unity. All of a sudden, we become inherently connected with one another. We're becoming telepathic. Okay. So we're no longer communicating with our mouths, we're communicating with our minds. Okay, so you can't have a lot of negative baggage if you're going to be connecting with everybody else. It's just not going to work. I dealt with this firsthand when it was like, oh gosh, a few years ago. I walked into a Starbucks, and I don't know why this happened, but all of a sudden I can read everybody's thoughts. And I was like freaking out. And I was just like, whoa. I would say 90% of the people in that Starbucks had very negative thoughts. They were thinking negatively about themselves or negatively about other people. And I was shocked. I was literally shocked. And it was so hard for me to hear all that garbage. I ran out of the Starbucks because I couldn't handle it anymore. And then I was walking down the street. This was in downtown Colorado Springs. And every person I passed, I was hearing their thoughts, and it was negative. Every now and then I'll run across somebody that was just thinking about their vacation, or I don't know, something positive. But it was, more often, and I was just like, oh, I got to turn this off. I think that was a lesson to me that our thoughts carry so much power. We cannot be connected with each other telepathically until we all clear our bullshit.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense to me. Does that make that my ancestors, like my grandparents, is it cleared for them? Like, do I need to do, like...
The clearing that you'll do will release everybody in your family from that bondage. Okay. So when you're doing clearing on yourself, especially ancestral clearing, you're clearing the whole lineage.
Okay.
So that's your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, and therefore and so on. So you're clearing everybody. And as a Cancer, you're very family oriented. And I think that's why you chose to incarnate as a Cancer, because you wanted to have this family focus. Okay. Yeah. And maybe not in the sense that I don't see you as being somebody that's like the great domestic, goddess, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not me.
You're more of the psycho-spiritual healer, okay? But you're doing it on a family level, all right? So I think that's why you chose to be. And my sister's a Cancer, and she's not a domestic goddess either. She's out there. She has a career. She's out there making money. So you're not like your happy Susie homemaker, stay at home kind of Cancer, okay? Yeah, you're not like the big great mother goddess kind of Cancer, okay? That's not you either. You're the Cancer that you're going to dig deep and get into those deep emotions, okay? That's the kind of Cancer you are.
My previous lives have been
preparation.
Preparation, but North and South America, Mediterranean, Eastern European kind of thing. Yeah. So if I geographically and then what else would I have? Lemurian.
Yeah.
Places I guess I'm asking for places to study. Like, where should I go be poking my nose and researching next, or am I focusing in on researching?
Oh no, I think you're a researcher by nature because you came from Maya. Okay.
I can't help it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, you're.
Where should I be Googling?
Yeah, no, I think that's just who. I would say Crete, more the Greek islands. The cultures from the Greek islands, not Athens so much. Athens was very patriarchal, but more the mother goddess. Cults in Crete, and then some of the Greek islands. Those are the things I would look at. Anything that's connected with Turkey or Macedonia, or those realms, I think, would be in alignment with your ancestry. I don't know why I'm not seeing Egypt with you. And I don't know if it was just maybe because, you more than likely had a lifetime there, but maybe it wasn't that significant, or maybe there's something in the records that you're not supposed to know about it yet. So sometimes that happens. But
I never felt 100% draw there either.
yeah, the Egypt connection, it's just not there with you, okay? And I would say with 90% of my star seeds, yes, almost all of them have had incarnations in Egypt, but not every single one of them, okay? There's a few of you that chose to, have incarnations elsewhere,
Right.
So yeah, I would say Central and South America definitely. I think, that's very much in resonance with, your past lives. I would say particularly the Inca culture and the Mayan culture.
Okay.
Inca being in, I guess, Peru, and
Yeah.
Maya in Mexico, so yeah, you'll probably go. It sounds like you've been to Peru before, though, or
I went once. I had a reading with Donna. Donna said she saw me going back there, my most recent one, and then there's a trip that came up at the end of October for Mexico. And
yeah.
I was doing it, but it's just I feel like the timing isn't right for me for some reason. It just doesn't feel right now. The person's having a workshop. He's from Mexico. He's having a workshop in October in the Boston area.
Right.
So I was just gonna do that for now, and if I resonated with him, then I'd consider a trip with him in the future. And then I second guess myself. I'm like, should I just go to Mexico with him? But it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, if it doesn't feel right, I think when the timing's right, you're gonna be like, yes, now it's time for me to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't try to talk yourself out of your. I think your intuition. I think a lot of us tend, and I do that too a lot of times. I'm thinking, okay, my intuition is telling me not to do this, but should I do it? Should I not? And a lot of times, more often than not, the question, if I'm not feeling it, it's not happening. It's just not going to happen. And if I try to force it, then it'll usually have some sort of, either mediocre result or nearly negative result. You know what I'm saying? So, but usually, when you feel in your heart like, oh yes, I need to take this trip, I'll do anything to come up with the money to go on this trip. It doesn't sound like money's that big of an issue for you as far as going on these trips, but
She says you'll always manifest the money. Don't worry.
so yeah, money's not an issue, okay? So
she told me I don't have it. She's like, stop it. So yeah. So yeah. And I think the other thing I was looking for, and you gave me, is things I can new avenues to look at, to try out.
oh yeah, I know. I think you have a lot of varied gifts. Me, I'm just an Akashic
It's like
reader.
picking one.
Yeah. I'm just an Akashic reader. That's basically what and spiritual coach, whatever. But that's what I do, and that's why I specialize in you. You have a variety of different things to choose from. So,
but I keep going from one thing to another thing to another thing. Like I've done the animals, I can go back to I think.
Well, maybe you're not supposed to stick. Maybe you're supposed to do all of them. Just maybe sometimes you'll focus more on the animal communication thing. Other times you might focus more on the psycho-spiritual healing. Other times you might focus more on the shamanism. Maybe you're not supposed to be, tying yourself down to just one thing. So what you're doing is you're filling your spiritual toolkit, okay? So if you need to have a bigger spiritual toolkit than I have, then that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Why should you just focus on one thing? You can be good at several things. I think maybe what you're concerned about is that you're not mastering anything.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to get to that point where, okay, I'm going to focus on this just for a little while so I can master it, and then I can move on to the next thing. So it's not just like you're just like taking little snippets of things here and there. You know what I'm saying? So you can focus. Maybe you just want to get really good at animal communication. Okay, and so you focus on that for a while. So and then it's like, okay, I feel like I'm at a good place with the animal communication. Now I'm going to focus on shamanism. And that's going to be my focus for a while. And I think a lot of us as humans, we have a lot of distractions, we're having to work our 3D jobs, we have our families, we have this, we have social obligations. Yeah. There needs to be that understanding that there's always going to be some distractions, but whatever it is that we're really focused on, whatever it is that we really love, we need to, learn to set aside the time to do what it is that thing, so that we can become more proficient at it. Okay. So yeah. Because I think you're just about there. You have a lot of gifts, okay? You have a lot of beautiful gifts.
Thank you.
And on top of that, you're also had a lifetime in Arcturus. That tells me you're a very advanced soul.
I can't make my. Can I quit my? I just want to quit my day job and go half time and do this. And that's.
I think you can build up to that point. Maybe you don't want to quit your day job completely, but.
Oh God, no.
And I had to do this in kind of stages where, okay, I'm doing my Akashic business part-time, and then I'm going to build my clientele, and then to the point where I can do it full-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you work full-time? Do you have a 9 to 5?
Yeah, I had 9 to 5 for, I don't at the moment because I'm retiring, but for the last 5 years and even beyond then, I've always had a 9 to 5 job. I worked in the science field for 30 years, so I had to transition out of doing the matrix job into doing more spiritual work. And it was a transition. It was a gradual transition for me. Some people are just like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. I'm going to do my spiritual thing.
I couldn't do that.
And I couldn't do that either. And I think most people, because we have bills to pay and because we live on planet Earth, and that we're in the monetary system, and things are that structured that way, we have to do more of a gradual transition. As a Cancer, I think you'll be very more comfortable with a gradual transition because you're Cancer. You see the importance of stability. You know what I'm saying? So you like to get your bills paid. You know what I'm saying?
And I like to afford a trip or two. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you don't want to be out there, wondering when the next rent's going to come, or can I pay my electric bill this month, So, yeah, we didn't talk about guides, so I wanted to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
So you're kind of a unique Pleiadian, okay? So what I'm seeing with you is kind of a mix of indigenous looking people that were actually from the Pleiades, okay? So they're Mayan Pleiadians in their Merope Pleiadian. So there's some of these Meropian priestesses, and then there's some from Electra, so I'm seeing Pleiadian star family. I'm seeing a couple of Arcturian guides. Okay, so you do have a connection with Arcturus. Okay. And I think they're the ones that are going to help you access the records when you need to get information about the Arcturians. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are your guides for that. I see some angelic guides, but they're not the typical ones that you hear about, all the time, like Archangel Gabriel or Archangel Michael. So Archangel Shamiel, okay. And she deals with relationships, but also family relationships. Okay, so she's a female archangel. I'm seeing Zadkiel, and I think he's the archangel of transformation. So those are the two I think you connect with the most. I don't see any Syrian guides or any ascended masters. I don't think you have much of a connection with ascended. It's not that you don't appreciate ascended masters, but I'm not seeing like a close connection with them because you didn't have lives in Sirius. Okay, most of your lives was Pleiades, and then the one in Arcturus, and then Earth. So. But yeah, I'm just seeing a bunch of really indigenous looking Pleiadian people. They're cute though. They're so beautiful. They're just very beautiful looking. And by cute, they're just so precious. They're just I don't even know how to describe them. They're just really precious. I think your guides are beautiful. And there's a mix of men and women. Okay, so there's some, more masculine beings, and then some more feminine ones. And these are the guides that you can, I think reach out to, like when you get stuck with something or when you're needing some assistance with, what should I do next, or should I take this trip, or should I not take this trip, or should I take this training or not take it. So those are your guides that will help you, help determine, what it is that, would be your best course of action. Okay.
Okay.
I think sometimes you have a hard time connecting with your guides. Okay.
I was going to ask you, how can I connect with them better? What can I do?
Okay. I did write a blog on how to connect with ET family, so I'll send you that.
Thank you.
And I'll send you the link to that. It's not really a long article. It just gives a little few highlights, so I think you'll get the information quick and easy. But a lot of times how I did it was I used to meditate a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's hard to do that, but
I will keep going. Okay.
and it's kind of an art to learning to quiet your mind. But once you quiet your mind, you'll be surprised at the information that comes in. I mean, it's like you'll start hearing voices that don't sound like yours. So it's like, oh, that must be my guides. And then my guides like to give me messages through music. So I always get song messages. Your guides may decide to give you messages in a different way, like maybe through numbers or through symbols or through something, So the other thing I want to send you is a podcast I did on Pleiadian starseeds.
Okay.
A lot of my Pleiadians seem to like that podcast because I talk about the traits of the Pleiadian starseeds.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like everything you ever want to know about yourself. Yeah, this is it. So.
Okay, then I'm in.
So yeah, a lot of my Pleiadians say, "Oh my God, I felt like you were describing me, like to a T," and.
Yes or no? The symbols are big for me. Okay.
Yeah, symbols. Yeah, you're probably going to get your messages through symbols.
Symbols. Okay.
Yeah, Electra symbols. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was it. Thank you so much.
You're such a beautiful soul. I really enjoyed connecting with you today. You're very advanced, even though you don't realize it. I want to wish you a lot of love, happiness, and success on your journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you.